free telephone number you want to be a part of this program. It's 800-941-SEAN. He is the chief White House correspondent for the Fox News Channel and was with me when I was interviewing the president and saw everything go down today. Ed Henry is with us.
Good, Sean.
How are you?
Fantastic. It's been a great trip, and it's good to travel with you.
It is. Look, you were just talking to me earlier, and you wanted the president to go at Putin publicly. And I'm sitting there thinking, from my perspective, we've got, let's say, Syrian refugees that are dying by the thousands daily almost. You got a major refugee. We got nuclear proliferation. We've got Islamic terrorism. You got the two biggest nuclear powers. And it doesn't surprise me, and I'm not putting you in this category, that so many people, why didn't he press him down publicly?
I agree with you big picture. There are a lot bigger issues to deal with than election meddling. I don't fall into the mainstream media narrative, which you're right, has been falsely, that the meeting should be all about election meddling. There are a lot bigger issues. You didn't mention Iran, which I know is important to you as well. Iran's funding of terror around the world. Russia could help there. And so this meeting was important and could be a positive step forward for the president. I also agree with you that, as the president mentioned, Hillary Clinton's deleted emails, the Peter Strzok testimony, there's a disaster on the left.
The missing 30.
There's disasters on the left. Right. So the president, though, had, at my point, had a golden opportunity to maybe shut down the negative media narrative and shut down all the other stuff by just saying, Vladimir Putin, you attacked us in 2016.
Right.
I don't like it, and you better not do it in 2018.
Here's what the thing is, here's what I want to know is we don't know what happened behind closed doors. They had bilateral.
He might have done it behind closed doors. But in public is what everyone's going to see.
In public, but I mean, I also think that there's such myopic, obsessive, compulsive double standard because, you know, go back to the original draft of the Comey-Strzok exoneration of Hillary Clinton. You go back to that one, they talked about 5 or 6 foreign intel services hacking into Hillary's email, secret, top secret, classified information on that server. It got pulled out of that as part of the effort, I believe, to cover for her and put the fix in for her.
I agree with you. She should be held accountable. All
Right.
I'm saying, Sean, is that why isn't the president also holding Vladimir Putin accountable? Because
why do you think he's not, though? But Vladimir Putin said something.
Here's how I
I'm not
know.
quoting Putin. Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Putin's saying to Mueller, come to Russia.
Okay.
And by the way, and this is such a lie, and nobody's going to say this, but I will. But everybody, and Rand Paul said, and I'm going to say this in my opening monologue tonight, that they do it to us, we do it to them. It's a game. It's called cyber warfare. And Barack Obama tried to impact the elections in Israel, our closest ally in the Middle East.
Correct.
And spent State Department dollars to do
I'll
it.
take it a step further and agree with you, Sean, that
Yeah.
Barack Obama did maybe nothing or virtually nothing to stop the Russians in 2016. He was president, not Donald Trump. All I'm saying is, when you ask, how do I know that Donald Trump didn't do enough? Because himself, he said at the news conference, the president today, that his own director of national intelligence, Dan Coats, told him the Russians attacked us in 2016. But the president said, Vladimir Putin told me, no, that's not true. Who am I to believe? That's where I think he made a mistake. This president, rightly so, has done this trip as an America First trip. He's standing up for America. So why didn't he stand up for his own director of national intelligence?
I actually don't, at this particular point in time, I honestly believe there's no way that didn't come up. It obviously did come up. Putin was outraged and expressed, I'd never do it, I never did do it. But, it's sort of like when Mueller indicted these 12 guys last week, like, this is the biggest thing. Let me tell you something. If they ever indicted American CIA operatives that are in the ground in Russia, and it's a fact, or if they're in the United States, we're never sending them over for a trial. Look, I take it this way. I actually think there comes a point where it's shame. You literally can say, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, but after 30 years since, like, Julian Assange hacked into NASA and hacked into the DOD, and it's 30 years later.
Beef it up. We're not doing enough.
Well, wait a minute. We have 250,000 cyber, employees, and are we saying we can't stop them? Why haven't we stopped them? Now, I'll go back to Obama. What did he do in the 8 years? Let me quote Obama 2 weeks before the 2016 election. No serious person out there would suggest that somehow you could even literally rig America's elections because it's so decentralized and the number of votes involved there's no evidence that happened in the past or instances in which it will happen this time. I'd invite Mr. Trump to stop whining and to go make the case to get votes.
I agree with you.
And we were hacked in 08.
Democrats have been hypocrites because Barack Obama said that,
Bingo.
and now they're holding it up. Here's the other thing I'll agree with you on, which is, as a straight reporter, I will tell you that I think there is no evidence of collusion, number one, and number two, there's no evidence that a single vote by Russian cyber warfare
Just the opposite.
And in fact, there's no evidence that Donald Trump did not win fair and square. Okay? So I agree with you on all that.
I understand what you're saying. You wanted him to take. You wanted him to do it publicly.
Cut it out. I'm standing up for America. Hey, the president wasn't shy about standing up to Angela Merkel over the pipeline, which is a legitimate issue at NATO, and called out an ally. He did it. Maybe he did it private, but you know what? He did it in public too, Sean. He did that for a reason. The president called out Merkel because when he did it publicly, it shamed her. He didn't do that to Putin.
The only thing I would say is, I think it's an even bigger shot that nobody really paid attention to. And to me, it's when the president basically did call out Merkel on her growing dependence on Russian energy, which is the lifeblood of any economy, and it's going to be up to 70%.
Critical of her to attack America over Russia when she's dependent upon Russia for energy.
But here's the deal. Right. What President Trump was really saying there, come to America, we'll give you all the energy you need. And by the way, that would not only destroy the Russian economy, it would destroy Vladimir Putin's career. Because that is the lifeblood. That is it. It is gas. It is energy, without which Russia dies, literally, economically. So maybe it's just an interpretation.
You know what? No matter what the president said today, I'll agree with you on something else. The left wouldn't be satisfied. They would still say Russia stole the election. I agree with you. But I'm saying the president had
you made your point 10 times. I got it. I got your point. You know, the funny thing is, I like the president when he tweeted out before he even got here, headed to Helsinki, Finland, looking forward to meeting with President Putin tomorrow. Unfortunately, no matter how well I do at the summit, if I was given the great city of Moscow as retribution for all the sins and evils committed by Russia over the years, I would return to criticism that it wasn't good enough, that I should have gotten St. Petersburg in addition. And this is where, and I did ask him, I had the interview with him right after he had the joint press conference. Much of the news media is indeed the enemy of the people, and I asked him specifically what he meant by that. And it's, if you're lying to the American people and you don't tell them the truth, and the media has not been honest about any of the issues, everything that we've reported on this show and on Hannity, the TV show, has been proven correct. And give me one bit of evidence.
The media will not give a break on any of this. I get that. And they also will continue to claim there's collusion. They'll largely continue to claim that the Russians delivered the White House for Donald Trump, and that's not true.
How does Brennan get away with saying it's treason? The guy that voted for the Communist Party leader.
John Brennan has lost it. John Brennan went way over the top to say it was high crimes and misdemeanors, this news conference. All I'm saying, I'm not agreeing with him, I'm saying that it was a missed opportunity for the president. That's a lot different than saying it's treason. And by the way, I think I know why John Brennan is attacking the president. Not the first time he tweeted an attack. It's because he's nervous about what we talked about a moment ago, about the Obama administration doing nothing, and he's nervous about
who's his watch,
about the FISA warrants that were signed off on by some people at the FBI and the CIA that he just used to run.
If the so-called Putin stooge Donald Trump killed 200 Russian soldiers in a Syrian airstrike, and Nancy Pelosi goes out there and says he had something on Donald Trump, I think we would have learned by now whatever they had, or would have been far more obvious than it is.
Yep.
I do think there are bigger issues, more important issues, but you know, the one thing that I have learned in all of this is it doesn't matter what the media says anymore. Every attack, every bit of unfairness that they show the president, it doesn't work. Everything comes back and helps the president in the long run. And that, to me, is the amazing... at some point, the American people have a certain degree of fairness.
Yeah, and you know what's unfair? The New York Times has a story today, before the summit started, that said Vladimir Putin's already won, just by taking the stage. So, how do you operate in that environment when the New York Times is saying Putin's already won before anybody's even had a handshake?
So they got this little video. I'll show it on Hannity tonight. It's President Trump and Vladimir Putin, a love story. This is before it happened. We played all the media, you know, and what they say. The bottom line is, I actually think at this point, if Donald Trump